Hey, I'm Em and I'm a mindset coach, soon to be ADHD coach, which I'm super excited about. I wanted to come on today because I've not actually done a YouTube video in a little while, and part of that is because I've been taking some time for myself. I feel like since my ADHD diagnosis, I have been on a massive journey of self-discovery. And something that came up for me that I really think so many people are going to connect to and relate to is a belief that I used to hold. And I say used to, it's still kind of there a bit, but we'll go into that. And it's this belief and this kind of almost mantra that I had in my head for years of what's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Why can't I do things in the way that other people seemingly do? Why are there certain things that I struggle with? Why can't I get my morning routine into place? Why do I find it hard to concentrate for long periods of time? Why do I get completely overwhelmed by big groups of people, a lot of loud noise? Why are my emotions so intense? Why am I so impulsive? All of these kind of questions and so many more have been just coming up for me for years and years and years. And I guess over time of making mistakes, getting things wrong, being judged, being criticized, I ended up with this thing that, yeah, there must just be something wrong with me. And of course, that is such a negative mindset to hold on to carry. And after my diagnosis, it was just like this massive kind of aha moment. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with me. I've got ADHD, right? There's nothing actually wrong with me. My brain just works different to a neurotypical brain. And this has been massive and continues to be massive because if you think about it, if you spend all of your time asking yourself that question, you are always going to have that negative slant on everything you do. You're never going to feel like you're good enough. You're never going to feel like you're meeting the standards that perhaps you set for yourself or other people set for you. And I guess this level of acceptance, I guess is the best word, this level of acceptance that's kind of come over me where I'm like, okay, yes, I find those things hard, but it's not a fault. And it's a small shift, but it's a big shift, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like, yes, things are difficult for me at times. I'm always going to struggle with things at times. Saying that, the more I learn about my brain, the more I learn about different techniques that I can use to do things differently, the easier I find things. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to struggle. And that's the thing. Finding out I had ADHD doesn't just take those problems away. But what it does is it stops me from feeling so crappy about myself. And that is about me internally, but it's more than that. It's about how I communicate with the outside world. So now I am a lot more sure of my boundaries. I'm able to say when I find something hard. I'm able to say when I need someone to make some adjustments in any situation. And that's massive because before, I guess, because I thought, oh yeah, it's just something wrong with me, I would always try and kind of fit and blend and mold into how people wanted me to be, into what I was supposed to be doing. And it just doesn't work. And it just leaves you feeling like you're failing all of the time. So I guess why I want to bring this up is for you to just think about this and think about actually how is it impacting your life? If you are holding any of these beliefs that I'm not enough or that there's something wrong with me, how is that impacting everything you do? Because for me, it would stop me in my tracks. It would be like, I'd have an idea of something I want to achieve. And before I'd even started to put those things in place, I'd already kind of blocked it. I'd blocked it and decided, well, actually no, because I can't do these things, so it can't happen. And I'm never going to be successful. I'm never going to find the things that I want in my life. And that's all starting to shift. Honestly, I cannot tell you the difference in my life now. It's like, I guess the more I feel better about myself, the more positive I feel about myself, the more I understand myself, the more I'm kind of welcoming that energy into my life. So I've now got people around me who think I'm good enough, who think I'm pretty awesome. And I am really working on those relationships and building that around me so that yeah, it's hard to explain. I guess it kind of spreads out. It spreads out across my whole life. Um, and everything's shifting. You know, I've got amazing people coming into my life. I'm focusing on my business. I'm about to start my ADHD course in June, and whereas before I might have questioned myself about whether I can do that, now it's really different, because now I'm like, actually, I just need to think about how I can do that. And that's the shift. It's like, okay, I understand my brain might need different ways of working, different ways of doing things, but how can I do that? Whereas with this kind of mentality that there's something wrong with you, you just shut down. It's like you're not even open to those possibilities. You're not even almost willing to consider that, because it's like, yeah, you've decided straight away, that's it. So it is huge. And I think one thing that's really been bothering me lately is when people sort of say, well, or this whole ridiculous thing about everyone getting a diagnosis, which I'm not even going to go into now because you just go off on one. But the whole thing about why does it matter? Why do you need a diagnosis? What's it going to actually change for you? And I guess in some ways, yeah, not a huge amount right now. I'm on a wait list for medication, and I'm going to be exploring that side of things. But so practically, yeah, I'm doing the same things as I was to a degree. But actually what it's changed for me is how I feel about myself. So if you're thinking maybe you've got ADHD, or you know, you've recently been diagnosed and you're kind of having all these feelings, it's normal. But don't let other people's stuff influence how you feel about yourself, because yeah, the number of people said to me, well, why do you need that? You know, what difference does it make? Why do you need to know? Well, I need to know so I stop hating myself. And that's massive. You know, just think, actually, yeah, the difference that makes in your life when you stop hating yourself, when you stop that mantra of there's something wrong with me. And I say stop, but let's be honest, when we've told ourselves something for years and years and years, it's not going to just go. So it comes up for me, and you know, people around me, friends around me will hear me say it, and every time I'm checking myself now. That's the difference. I don't just go into this pit of like, oh my god, it's horrendous. I hear myself saying it, and I question what's coming up, and I challenge those thoughts. And so yes, it takes time. It takes time to change almost a core belief that we hold about ourselves. But actually, the amazing impact of doing that is worth it. It's worth questioning that stuff. So yeah, if you've been recently diagnosed, or you think you've got ADHD and you're waiting diagnosis, or you're just, you know, on the path generally, start asking yourself that. Start asking yourself, what have I been telling myself all these years? It might be what I've told myself. It might be different. But yeah, what is that stuff? And what impact is that having on my life? And how do I want things to be now? Because that's the thing. I can't change the fact I've got ADHD. But I tell you what I can do, I can change my mindset around it. I can change my mindset around me, myself as an individual. And that is, yeah, I can't tell you enough how much that's changed. So spend some time thinking about that. Spend some time thinking about, yeah, the stuff that you've told yourself, and really challenge that stuff. Really start to ask yourself, what's the evidence for those beliefs that I'm holding? And how is it serving me? Because yeah, you know, it won't be, but sometimes we need to go there. Sometimes we need to challenge ourselves. Sometimes we need to really get to the core of what that inner voice is telling us on a daily basis. So that's my advice to you, is really unpick this. Really unpick what those things are and try and turn it around. Because having ADHD does not mean there's something wrong with me. There is nothing wrong with me. There's a lot of amazing things about me. I'm a really creative person. When I put my mind to it, when I can get focused, I'm really creative. Even like with the impulsiveness, you know, okay, it can be an issue at times, but it means also I do things that maybe other people wouldn't. I take chances. You know, I try and live my life to my fullest. And, you know, everyone tells me I'm a great person to be around. So, you know, that's another good thing. But it is about, yeah, start looking at what are the positives for you, and for the things you struggle with, how can you reframe that in your mind so that you are not making it negative about yourself? It's just more of that acceptance. This is who I am. This is how my brain works. And this is what I need to do to make those shifts. So I'd love to hear from you guys. I would love to hear what comes up for you if you're watching this. What have you been telling yourself for years, and how can you reframe it? You know, or if you've been through this process like I am and you have started reframing things, what difference has that made in your life? Because it's good to recognize this stuff. It's good to really, really dig deep and recognize the difference that it's made. So yeah, I am incredibly grateful for my diagnosis. It's been life-changing, and that, you know, might sound dramatic, I suppose, but then maybe not. See, again, I've been told for so many years that, oh, you're really dramatic when you talk about things, but actually, maybe it's not. Maybe that is just reality. It is life-changing. It's huge. And if you want to talk to someone that, you know, has been through this, if you're maybe sat there yourself thinking, I'm really not sure, you know, I've got this stuff coming up for me, I don't know how to approach this, reach out. I'm here. On my description on the video, there's a link to all my socials. So, you know, come say, hey, let's talk about this stuff, because for me, that's another thing that's been huge since my diagnosis, is really connecting more and more to people who get it. Because when you have that community around you, it just makes you feel less alone in it all. It just helps you to make sense of it all. So I'm here for you. Reach out, come and introduce yourself, come and say hey, and let's chat about this stuff. And in the meantime, I'd really, really appreciate if you could follow my videos, if you could subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications, because I'm going to be sharing a lot more on this journey. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm starting my ADHD specific coaching course. I'm already a qualified coach, but I'm starting the ADHD bit in June. And I want to share this stuff, you know, I want to share this stuff through my social media, through this channel, and eventually, obviously, one-to-one coaching, you know, with you guys. But yeah, reach out, let's connect. And yeah, just make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss the stuff that I'm putting out there. And I promise there will be more videos soon. I have been procrastinating a little bit over this, I must admit. But also I've been processing, so I'm not going to give myself a hard time for that. And I'm here now, so it's all good. So yeah, thanks guys. I really appreciate you being here. I want to say thank you as well to just everyone who's been part of my journey, to all the people who have reached out to me on my socials and said, you know, thank you for sharing this stuff. It's really helpful. And I've had some amazing conversations. I've met some brilliant people. So yeah, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I will be back with more soon. In the meantime, stay safe and just keep loving yourself and recognise all the amazingness that you are. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.